Beyond Reach podcast gives the voice to brands, athletes, organizations in the outdoor space industry. Through open conversation, you're going to discover their stories, their successes and challenges, but also their vision. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Beyond Reach podcast, where we dive deep into the world of sports and the great outdoors. Today, we're thrilled to bring you a conversation that's both inspiring and insightful. Today, we're excited to introduce a guest who turned a personal concern into a groundbreaking product that's now setting new standards in sports protection. A devoted hockey dad saw a critical gap in the market when it came to protecting his kids on the ice. What started as a simple observation that the neck guards available were made of thin foam and offered minimal protection quickly became the spark that ignited his journey towards innovation. Inspired by remarkable material D30, he reached out to the creators of a revolutionary impact-absorbing technology. This collaboration led to the development of the world's first and only impact and slash-resistant neck guard. But this entrepreneur didn't stop there. His team in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, has continued to push the boundaries, creating protective gear that combines comfort, performance, and unmatched protection. In today's episode, we'll explore the journey from concerned parent to industry pioneer, how protective products are changing the game in sports safety, and the challenges and triumphs along the way. Our guest ventures don't stop there. He's also co-owner of Regatta Sport, involved in developing high-performance gear for water sports, and co-owner of Nico Apparel Systems, bringing high-quality, custom-made apparel to his clients. If you're interested in how one person's dedication can lead to innovation that protects athletes worldwide, you won't want to miss this great episode. Let's dive deep into the story behind Aegis Impact Protection. Welcome, co-founder Joe Camillo.
Thank you very much, Kayla. Wow, what a nice introduction. I'd like to hear the trumpets. Like, I feel like that was huge. It's huge. My head's ready to explode out of the room. It's so inspiring. And
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, you feel like you can go and conquer the world today, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How's your morning been so far?
Well, you know what? I mentioned to you just recently, I just got back from a 2-week stint in Italy where my other company, Regatta Sport, we were fortunate enough to win contract to merchandise official merchandise for the 2024 World Dragabo Club Crew Championships. And we teamed up with an Italian company and we sold a lot of product. I was there, and then my family actually emigrated from Italy. And after that, I rented a little Fiat 500 convertible. I drove 500 kilometers down to the southeast side, and I was there for 4 days.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was there. I saw my family, and now I'm back at it. So I worked and I played a little bit, and I reconnected with my Italian roots. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
That's amazing. Work hard, play hard, right? And
Absolutely.
you know some Italian?
Pardon?
You know some Italian?
You are? Yeah, io parlo un po' italiano, però io voglio imparare bene. Sorry, I think Spanish there. I want to learn, but I always want to speak better. Yes.
That was very good.
Yeah, io spero. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
That is better than me. So, hey, you got this, right? I have a brother-in-law that is from France, and I was trying to learn how to speak French even. You know, we need to speak French in Canada because everyone thinks we're bilingual when we go across seas, but they're like,
yeah.
oh, no.
If they speak too quickly, it's always a problem. But you know what? My relatives were good, and the Italians are great. It's a great country. They know how to live. They know how to enjoy life. I think Canadians need to take a lesson from that too, because like you said, you work hard, you play hard. You need to enjoy the time that you have, what little time you have on this earth, because it goes by pretty quickly. So don't always work, because then you work and then you're dead. So you don't want to be like that.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. My brother-in-law with the European background, right? They live to work or work to live, right? So yeah, choose to balance work and life, but that's a beautiful concept that we all need to be reminded of, right?
Yes.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on today. We're so excited. I love hockey. I grew up playing hockey. My dad coached me, and my mom was a trainer a couple times. So I just was really excited to talk to you about all the amazing things that you're doing in your businesses with Aegis. And so, I mean, I did tell a little bit of your story and your background and how it kind of came into fruition. But what kind of started it? What kind of role has hockey played in your life?
Well, I can tell you as you know what, I came from an immigrant family. My father passed away when I was young, and my older brother got to play. He's 6 years older, but I
Yeah.
never really got the chance to really play until I was in my 40s. So I've been around it, skated, but in that time, of course, I was lucky enough to get married and have 4 children. And I said, I'm going to have my kids play hockey. All my kids are going to play, as they did. And, growing up and starting out, so I wasn't that knowledgeable about hockey, but I knew about manufacturing things, whatever. And, I would go and anyways, my kids range from 27, 25, 24, and 21, and they all played. But I, I was always manufacturing. The background is my rowing background, but as I got involved as a hockey dad, I noticed that some of the products I didn't quite understand, and specifically was the neck guard. So I remember one day, it was in '03. I was my one son was only 3 years old, and I was watching a Discovery Channel episode where it featured this new company. It's D3O. It's the non-Newtonian material.
Yeah.
This is the material. This is the product. This is the neck guard, the insert. Anyways, they did a lot of really cool things with, striking something with a hammer. You'd have it on your hand, it would protect, or putting on a helmet. It would be used for a lot of these fun things. And I thought, what a cool thing to do if we could actually include it into another product like a neck guard, because I felt the neck guards they were flimsy, they would spin around, they were
Yeah.
made of ballistic nylon. It was really chintzy. And I thought, well, everything else that you play hockey with has some level of protection in your shoulder pads, in your elbow pads, in your shin pads, but not in your neck. I thought if you can offer it light enough and malleable enough, then it would work. And it took me, I saw that in '08. It took me 4 years after the death of a hockey player in Edmonton to get D3O's attention, of which I finally got them to say, listen, I think I can do it. So 4 years of persistence of writing to them, getting nothing, crickets, but
Yeah.
I kept going. I kept manufacturing. So, we have here in our plant, we have about 35 people here. We have 10 in St. Catharines. We're doing our thing, but I wanted to do this and I never gave up. So in 2012, we started on the journey of making the first impact and slash resistant neck guard. So it took me a few years. I went to England, I went to their head office, pitched them, and we started to develop the product, of which this is one of the products here. This is it here. So in
Great.
here, it's very soft. So we wanted it so that kids would want to wear it. So it's comfortable. You can move around. It's washable. It grows with you. It's not as rigid. So we wanted it flexible, but offer protection. So we did some tests with D3O. Of course, with Hockey Canada, you always have to have that anvil symbol, which is the B&Q symbol.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
had to have a slash. So in 2016, it took me 3 years again of sort of going through it. We launched it in Munich at ISPO. It's the International Sporting Goods Exposition. We started off small, and from there we started with the neck guard, and I always felt that it was underutilized, and it just kept growing, and we kept building orders and distributors. And last year I can tell you I was in China, where we sell to Chinese distributors, and I was there as a guest,
Nice.
selling to the Chinese a product that's developed here in Canada, not made in Canada. It's
Yeah.
made in Vietnam, but developed here. It is a labor intensive product, but the point is it's really expanded, and we've gone into wrist protection, of course, goalie, base layer for goalie, and soon to be a protective shirt as well for players as well. We're finishing that off as well. So I'm expanding from the accessories
Yeah.
to the wearables.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. No, I love that it's comfortable because I can remember wearing like the honkin' pieces of foam as a
Yeah,
guard, and it's
yeah,
comfy. And I know, you know, a lot of players wouldn't want to wear the neck guard because it was uncomfortable, right? So I mean, I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. I can speak from experience getting a neck, I'm not getting a puck in the neck. Uh,
yeah.
was uncomfortable, or you know, just very scary stuff that's happening. Accidents happen, right? And it's a very, what I want to say, like body sport, like, right, like it's
It
very
is. It's very
hands-on,
physical.
very physical sport. So I mean, was it last year that they had someone actually in the NHL passed away, right?
Adam Johnson.
Adam
Adam Johnson. It was in the English league. He played for Pittsburgh, and he died on the ice. He died due to a laceration from the skate, and
yeah,
that really changed things for us. Um, from it was, I believe it was either October 31st, 23 or November 1st when he had that tragic accident, he fatally died because of it. Things just changed for us. It really heightened the awareness of neck protection, of which now, they have many different hockey federations. One of the biggest one, of course, is USA Hockey, where they mandated in August of this year
yeah,
that all players, I can't remember, under the age of 18 have to wear a neck guard.
yeah,
So it really changed things, and it changed our business as well. We were there, we were doing well, and we're still in all the major stores. Like we were in Sport Check and Hockey Life and a lot of the independents here in Canada. Um, Pure Hockey in the States, which is the largest bricks and mortar in the States. But it really started to expand after that tragic accident. And it's sad because there's been other incidents before with neck lacerations, but when you have a high profile person like Mr. Johnson pass away because of this, it brought the importance of having proper neck protection. And our product, aside even from the impact, the way it's designed, it's 360 protection. It has the Kevlar around, completely around the neck. It's tight. It doesn't move. It doesn't shift.
yeah.
So these are things that people really liked. And, there were independent reports about just our product. I didn't even know until people sent it to me, say, look what they're writing about your product. It's pretty humbling to know that, I'm from Hamilton. I never played hockey as a kid. I play now. I'm a crappy hockey player, but to see this being sold all over the world, believe it or not, is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what you're doing, right? You're saving athletes' lives, right? That's the biggest thing. People feel protected. People, I know my mother, you know, she didn't want me to play in a sense that it's dangerous, right? So it
Mm.
definitely makes parents feel more comfortable too, sending their kids fully equipped with the right protection, right? So your neck guard is the right protection because it has that D30, right?
Yep.
And that's just an amazing product. I saw it when I was online and I thought, this is amazing. I love this product. I have to talk to you.
Well, you reached out to me, and I remember that, and I really appreciate that. And we've been very lucky. Like, you need to know that the people that listen to this podcast, that in business, you're swimming upstream when you're not a major brand. Like you're not one of the big ones. And when you're not, you don't get the shelf space, you don't get the attention, you don't get the purchase orders. And you need to have, if you're going to start anything that is significant, you need to have uh something better. You need to build a better mousetrap in order for them to even take notice, because they don't want to. Hockey's a very conservative sport. We have limited brands. Like if you take a look in other sports, there's much more variety, but in ours, there's basically two,
Yeah.
maybe three, and that's it. And then when you try to break down the accessories, it's hard unless you have something different. So, to those people out there, if you're just going to be like someone else, you're not going to really have that ability, and you don't want to have a race to the bottom to have the cheapest price. It's difficult too. So we're very lucky to have that, and we're very lucky to have a great relationship with D3O, who deals with some of the biggest companies in the world. They deal with it, and we're humbled that we're one of their partners. It's just, we're just grateful for that.
Yeah, no, it's a very competitive industry in the hockey equipment, 100%. You do have to swim upstream a little bit. It's hard, but so the D30, just backtracking a little bit, um, how did you discover it? What exactly is the technology in a sense? Like, what's it made out
Well,
of?
yeah, it's made out of polymer that basically it is a material that originally I believe it was developed by Dow Chemical in the States, but it's a material that when you strike it at a certain impact, a certain level of force measured in newtons or joules, it
Yeah,
hardens on impact. So when going back when I was seeing my youngest son who now is 21, he was 3. I saw this excerpt in Discovery Channel and I couldn't believe it what it could do, and I reached out to them. So they launched it several years before, and I went to them and I said I'd love to incorporate that, but I never got anything except, we're very busy, basically hurry up and wait. You're at the bottom of the list, right?
wow. Yeah.
It took 4 years. It took 4 years when it was an individual, Kyle Funditas, actually out of Edmonton, Alberta, where he got struck and he died with a puck to the neck. He died. And
Nice.
I made that point and I called the D3O office. I stopped emailing, I phoned them and I got the director of sales. And
Nice.
I basically did the pitch on the phone. And then he said, okay, I'm interested. How about tomorrow you do a formal pitch? So I had to prepare something the next morning and do that. Yeah. And I
All
had to do
all nighter, eh?
yeah, I pull on later. And I mean it was tough, but we got there and that's how it all started. It's just I was just fascinated with this material. I thought, how could you incorporate it into different products? And they use it everywhere. I mean, they use it like my phone has D3O in it. They use it for helmets. They use it, the US military uses it for their combat in their helmets, in their elbow and their knee pads. So it's been tested. There are other companies that do it, but I think they make the best product and they're great to work with. So that was the difference. So
Yeah.
taking that, combining our understanding on apparel, so making sure that things fit right, understanding that part. 'Cause we have good people here, designers that correspond with the design team overseas. So
Yeah.
it's not just take the material, but making a product that fits good, feels good, has properties. That's you put it all together.
Yeah. No, I love it. It took 4 years, but you were persistent, and I love that. That it's a really great product. Okay, so my next question is, it doesn't have to be towards neck guards, but more just in the equipment industry, generalize. I love kind of giving this broad question in the sense that what right now breaks your heart the most about the industry.
You're talking about the industry. It's like you're talking about protective or just the industry. It's like at what level?
So just
Just
we'll just say equipment, I guess. We'll say the equipment industry. But you can speak to what you like, but yeah, what's breaking your heart the most? Maybe what struggles, what challenges are you really struggling with at the moment?
well, I think always, you might have great ideas. And like I said, it took me several years and it took me years and years to get to a level where, we're selling tens of thousands of units now. I mean, when we started, our first order was 5,000 and I was worried because of course, where it's a family business, you're buying tens of thousands of dollars. So each product, each order is tens of thousands of dollars. So what breaks my heart and was always a concern is when you go into another product category, which I do, it's always whether or not that you have the ability to break into that market. Um, you because life is so difficult sometimes in a small business, you need to, that you heard the comment about many hats. If you don't have good people to support you, you find you spread yourself too thin and you never progress to a point where you move forward. Here we worked well on the one product, but to move to other products, such as wearables, I'm working on other products as well, more for the elderly to protect against falls. It
Mm.
takes time. Um, so barriers to entry, capital costs. Um, in order for us to survive, it's wearing those different hats.
Mhm.
And you know what? I mean, life is finite. I've just explained it took years to develop this. I mean, you're talking to me. It's been, since its inception, 12 years really since I started it. So it's making sure that you can justify and feel good that you're not just wasting time and money. So the capital investment is huge. Um, and going into new products always is difficult. So, unless you're big, you get crushed. They'll crush you and they'll shut you down. They'll try to, and we've had that. We've had other companies try to squeeze us out because we're new and really talk badly about us, right?
Right.
So we just try to keep straight.
Love it. Love it. Love family owned business that just has grit. You guys have grit. You just keep on going and look at you. You're still being innovative, making more products. I love it. That's great. Thank you so much for explaining that, because a lot of people that are listening to us right now might be entrepreneurs, might be starting out where you are 12 years ago.
Yep.
But just keep going, right? Like that's the mentality. Keep going, keep writing those letters, even if it takes 4 years, like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. So obviously, Beyond Reach Productions, we do video here. So I always love to ask about video. Are you guys utilizing that in your marketing? Is it supporting you? Let's just talk a little bit about that.
You know what? So we do use video. We have used it many times. We've done everything Instagram, TikTok, actual video productions. I've talked to you about that actually as well. And I think the visual, we just finished a collaborative post with D30 as well for product. So I'm a big believer. Um, that's why I'm here with you today, is that to see it in action as opposed to stills is so much more effective and validating. So yes, we use it. I want to use it more. Um, I think it's so key, especially if you really are bringing something new to the marketplace. So yes, I use it. I think it's so important, and I think it's great the stuff that you're doing as well because I've seen the work that you've done, and it looks really impressive.
Well, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I've seen the D30. They do great work too. So I'm glad that they kind of collaborate with you a little bit to help support you that way. That's great.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, we can talk more. But the biggest challenges, we kind of talked about that a little bit and how you kind of overcome them and you're persevering. What is your goals, for Aegis Impact in the next five years? We can say we'll start there. What are your long-term goals for the company? Maybe you've already kind of answered that with innovation. You're already innovating more products, but is there
Mm.
anything else that you want to add to that?
You know what? I think, you know what? I I'm not I have to remember I'm 62. I'm not 30 or 40 or 50. I'm 62. So I always have to be aware of what I want to do because it is pretty intense. What I do, the commitment, it's just there is stress levels involved. So maybe I might be interested in selling it off. Maybe um I have someone else take it over. I don't think I'll ever stop creating things. I think for anybody like myself, you have this always this need to create and do new things. And I do more than just the Aegis line. I have many different things that I do. And I want to do. I think it's important that you are, I know this term is so cliche, passionate. You need to have some element of
Yeah.
of excitement because that's what makes you live, right? And people like that when you want to do things, people pick up off on that vibe if you're not into it. So until I lose that, I'm going to move forward, knowing that eventually, yes, like, I was up north yesterday. I got back from Italy. We went up north, my wife and I. I have a recreational rowing shell, and I was on a boat, a rowing shell, and I rowed on the lake. And I rowed by
Wow.
myself for 10 row up, and I would just do that and then just relax and go in the sauna and jump in the water. I like that. I like, and I'm lucky that those things that I do allow me to do that. And if you work hard and you persevere and you have a good product, it's not just working hard and persevering. That's not going to be enough. You have to have something that people want. As much as you think that they want it, that's where people become headstrong. Is like, well, why don't you like my product? Well, what's your problem? It's you can't be like that. You can't be so defensive in business. They gotta want it. And I've been very lucky to have major people, buyers want it. And that's what starts everything. Not you saying it's you. You have to believe in the product, but until it's validated by someone else, and most importantly, a purchase order, it doesn't really hold much credence. So, eventually we'll see if maybe it could be sold. I'm not going to stop right now. I have no intentions over the short term to stop. And that's why I might have to talk to you later after.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. So passion and perseverance and yeah, no, just don't stop, keep going. Yeah, I love it. I love the story. So we can kind of pivot a little bit to your rowing, because I'm just interested. So you're a rower. How did you get this like grit in you that made you become this innovator, become this passionate person that wants to create and build?
Well, the rowing, I can only tell you like this. I don't want to go into great detail, but when I was a bit of a I can say this, a bit of a shit disturber. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I caused a lot of trouble. I
That's great.
was, back then in high school, and when I was 17, I was on a motorcycle. I got involved in a hit and run, and somebody hit me on the curb, and I almost lost my lower leg. It was off at 90.
Oh,
I didn't have any idea. So, anyways, they saved it. And in that time, I was reflecting. I was in the hospital for weeks and whatever. And I wasn't involved in that many sports, but through back then when we had grade 13 back in Ontario, I met some people involved in the sport of rowing, and it got me really involved. I really liked that. And from there, uh, it gave me more purpose, the discipline, the camaraderie. The people there at that time were great. They were great mentors. And I started to build confidence. And through rowing, it made me feel better. And I was lucky enough in I have my undergrad from University of Guelph in economics, and somehow I got going. I got my MBA from McMaster, barely made it. I barely made it, but I did. And I made the national team. And
wow.
from there, I met, from rowing, I love, in Hamilton, we have Hamilton Leander. That's where I learned how to row and was a member of the club for many years, but I just loved it.
Yeah.
It got me going. I needed that outlet to push myself harder. Even with my injuries, I could do that. And I loved it. And then at the national team level, I met my partner who said, maybe, you have an MBA. He didn't really know me that well. But anyways, I had sort of the business background, and we started this store, Regatta Sport, with two other people, his brother and someone else from the national team. But they left the business, and we sell product all over the world. And manufacturing clothing. Always wanted to make things. So, the sewers, designers, they're with me. They're in my shop here.
Cool.
And the rowing was just an outlet. But then if I could make clothing, like we do the Olympic team, so the women's silver medal day, we do that. I do other OEM that I can't really disclose for national Olympic teams as well. People think you can't manufacture in Canada, but if you're really good at it and you know what you're doing, you can do it. That being said, though, Aegis is not a product that lends itself to being made in Canada. The amount of it's labor intensive.
Yeah.
It's too cost prohibitive. So you need to know when to balance
Mhm.
what to do, right? But I love rowing. I love it. And I love riding. I love cycling. I like to do stuff. I mean, people need a proper outlet.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's all about balance.
You know what people don't realize is that the rowing is a lot with the legs, right? When you're
It
rowing,
is.
like people think like you need to have like really big biceps to row,
No,
but
no, 80%, 80%. 80% of the effort is in the legs and in the core. When you're pulling that oar in, you're sort of finishing it off, but really the drive is in the legs. And we're proud too, the premier and best rowing machine in the world is Concept 2. If you go to a gym, you'll see the C2 logo. Well,
Yeah.
we make the shorts for them here. We make
Oh,
the shorts. And actually, I don't have one here, but I've developed, it doesn't see it, but I'm finishing off the world's first rowing short with a special chamois that I developed with another company overseas. And I worked with McMaster University, a biophysicist on that. That's my next product that I'm launching, because people on rowing machines, your bum gets sore, your sits bones, your sciatic. So I'm
right.
launching that in the next it'll be ready by December or January of 25.
Okay. So yeah, a good Christmas gift for yourself right there.
Yeah. No, well, it won't be ready, but the thing is, rowing yeah, it's key and just about innovating. I felt the shorts weren't enough. I wanted to improve upon that, and I'm just finalizing that now.
Wow. So what was your first product that you ever
It was a
made?
rowing short. So
Rowing
back
short.
in university, yeah, when I was in first year MBA, there were rowing shorts and people needed them. And there was, back then it wasn't very, you know, it's so niche. People just bought lycra shorts, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I went to fabric stores and then I went to seamstresses and did that. And I basically started with a rowing short. And now, it obviously grew from that.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. You have so much in that noggin of yours with all of the sports, and I love that you continue to row today and cycle, because I mean, sports is such a big thing that we're really passionate about here, and mentality and mindset and living a full life. We think really needs to be all compacted with getting out there, loving the outdoors, doing and moving and doing sports. So it's really great that you're still doing that too. Um, I think that's really all I have for today. Is those questions? I think is unless there's anything that you want to touch on, or any last words. Uh, Anything else there?
I think the last thing I'd probably want to say is that the success, I'm not saying I'm wildly successful. I've done well. We've made some good decisions. It's having good people around you. I think that I'm lucky enough. My wife has been with me. We've been married 28, 29 years now.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I can't believe she's stuck with me that long. But yeah, she shuttles between the two businesses. And I think it's really important that unless you really have the buy-in from your partner, your friend, whatever, spouse, it makes it a lot more difficult. You can do it, but
Right.
it makes it harder. And if your family isn't behind you, you have to do that. But most importantly, I'm a hard, like when people say I can't do it, I do it. I love telling people, you know what? Whatever I will do it. I will take care of it. And sometimes I fail, but I try getting up. And I think I won't finish until I'm dead. I think that's the whole thing. Like, from water skiing to riding to whatever, I just want to do that because that just makes me feel that you got to push your life a little bit sometimes, right? That's why I'm here with you now. I don't know. I've never done a podcast before, so I decided today will be the day I'm going to do it.
And aren't you having so much fun?
I love Kayla Ryan. I think she is unbelievable.
Oh, good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I thought you guys have done a great job. And again, I want to thank you for allowing me to share my story.
Awesome. Well, no, well, big thanks to you and everybody listening or watching, tuning in. We're so happy that you could join us for this time. And we'll see you next time on the Beyond Reach. And thanks again, Joe Camillo. And hope you play hard, work hard, play hard, I guess.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks so much.
All right, Kayla.
Bye.